And this is kind of a practical exercise, even though, but let's discuss, how digitally we can get some insight and learn from each other. What action should be taken on finding a person suspected to have suffered an electric shock? What action should be taken on finding a person suspected to have suffered an electric shock? What would be your action number or the step number 1, 2, 3, or how the Sudara procedure is guiding you, mashallah, for dealing with such kind of incidents? Over to you, please. What action should be taken on finding a person suspected to have suffered an electric shock? I hope you have a team of first aiders. Any one of you is responsible as a first aider also? Any one of you in Sadara, please? Responsible as a first aider or as a basic life supporter or as a CPR practitioner? Or as an emergency responder? Any one of you, please? What action should be taken on finding a person suspected to have suffered an electric shock? How are you going to ensure your safety also? Because it's not a good strategy to be the second victim, God forbid. Because it's electricity, you can't touch that gentleman, without ensuring your safety. What action should be taken on finding a person suspected to have suffered an electric shock? Yes, please.
Yes, in that situation, the first thing to do is it is for any other emergency. First thing is do not panic. The first thing also to do is never get close to that person or touch that person at all. If you have an access to close or shut down the flow for the electricity, just do this.
Excellent.
And after that, you can find a way just to inform and get help from 911. If you manage to turn off or shut down the flow or the electricity, at that point you can apply the CPR if you are trained only. One other thing is just to make sure that this person is staying warm and never, do not move that person until the help is received. I believe this is it.
Excellent, mashallah. Now let's see what Nibosh is talking about. As you mentioned, do not touch the casualty, call for help and ambulance, and turn off supply. This is critically important. If can't switch off power, isolate casualty from the supply. If you are trained for, you're authorized for, you know the way. Sometimes I say in high hazardous industries, don't do anything you are not trained for, you are not authorized for. Otherwise, it will fire back for sure. Check for breathing, like recovery position if breathing. Start CPR if not breathing, but don't start CPR if you're not trained for, you're not a first aider, or you don't have any idea how to perform CPR. Any one of you have idea about CPR, what steps we need to follow? Cardiopulmonary resuscitation, kind of artificial breathing system. What are the steps after call 911 later on? What steps we need to follow for CPR? What are the right set of techniques, for CPR? So make sure, you interlock your fingers. You also lock your elbows and make sure you're not putting whole weight of your body on the, because after all, you need to put your palm in the right, there is a joint, you know, in the lungs actually. And the center bone is always stronger enough, but make sure you are not pushing more than maximum 2 inches. More than that, maybe the ribs would be broken. Bear in mind 30 compressions, 2 breaths. Keep this momentum on and on until you get medical aid. And you need to check circulation. You need to know how to tilt back and make sure the windpipe is clear. Or put on recovery position also to double check, you know, if anything is blocked or any windpipe is blocked. So you can remove those items, or it also automatically will also in recovery position. You will get something automatically will come out if there is. If you believe the person is having uh, the condition which is you as a first aider not confident to deal with, then the best thing is don't touch that victim and call 911, or that is your great help, or call to the response team like emergency responders. Because sometimes I noted the person is certified, trained, but practically, psychologically, physically, he is unable to tackle that situation, you know. Like a person is suddenly unconscious, and he even forget, you know, how to perform CPR because no practice and no training how to control our emotions. Even in Sadara, I'm sure you guys would have trained your a lot of employees for emotional intelligence. You would have trained them for stress management. You will definitely train them for time management and decision making to reduce their stress level also. Because these are the strongest pillars, the time management or effective time management, in other words. Then a lot of training you're going to go for effective leadership or kind of safety leadership, or maybe effective communication. And those trainings or kind of soft skills ultimately will be very much helpful for your job, even for the company, and you will be the ultimately the best safety leader, inshallah. So, but don't expect that everyone have that level of opportunities, or naturally, very few people you're gonna find. They don't get panic, and they don't forget the steps, and they have plenty of practice willingly, because they know as a first aider, he'll be performing like a lifesaver. So every second, every minute is critical. So because of his good technique and right technical steps, if he can save a life, and you know our Quran said, mashallah, saving one life, saving the whole humanity. So it's one of the noblest, greatest job in the world, that you are part of a team where you are keeping or making people safe, you know, and avoiding them to be expired, God forbid. And it's one of the best job in the world, right? So in that context, also he must be having some empathy, or you know, he must be neutral, confident, bold enough to make sure he can tackle such kind of situations. You know, that is why it is mentioned. You know, treat for physiological shock and ensure medical help is obtained, and also treat burn. You know. But I repeat again, even if as a first aider you are trained, you are certified, but you're not confident, that you still believe you can't handle that situation, don't mess up actually. Don't create more terrible consequences. Call 911 immediately. Call emergency responders, because you already decided, you calculated you can't handle it. So don't do it actually. Now, inspection and maintenance strategies, we will discuss inshallah after the break. So thank you very much for your great patience and focus. So catch you back after the break, inshallah. Okay.